After the breakup, I snuck into my ex-girlfriend Victoria's house in the middle of the night to retrieve my dog. To my horror, she was live streaming at the time, and the internet exploded with gossip. The headlines? Starlet Victoria living with a man he looks at the dog more lovingly than he ever did at her. Victoria hid back online. He wasn't looking at the dog, he was looking at me. Here's the truth. Victoria and I co-owned 2 dogs while we were dating. After breaking up, we each took one. One day I noticed my dog Evan seemed listless. Stroking his head, I asked, "Evan, are you missing your brother? Should we go get him back?" His eyes lit up immediately. For the sake of Evan's emotional health, I decided to. Not steal, but bring his brother home. Stealing is such a harsh word, isn't it? I studied a bunch of retrieval videos online and decided to act under the cover of night. I even tested Victoria's door code and miraculously it worked. I couldn't believe she hadn't changed it. Quietly slipping through a crack in the door, I stepped inside. The moment Big Boy, my other dog, Max, saw me, he leapt up from the floor, tail wagging furiously as he sprinted toward me. I couldn't resist giving him a quick pat. "All right, buddy, let's put your leash on and head home," I whispered. So far, so good. But just as I was about to leave, the living room light switched on. I froze, and there she was, Victoria. Her hair was freshly blow-dried, cascading in loose waves. She wore a relaxed V-neck top that revealed her elegant neckline and collarbones. Her expression was a mix of surprise and incredulity. "Gabriel, are you here to steal my dog?" she asked, arching an eyebrow. "It's not what it looks like," I stammered, gripping Max's leash as I prepared to dash for the door. But Max, the traitor, looked at me, then at Victoria, and suddenly bolted toward her. Caught off guard, I was dragged back into the room. Who am I? Where am I? Max had completely freed himself from me and was now wagging his tail at Victoria's feet. She crouched down to scratch his head, smiling. "Such a good boy. Didn't run off with anyone else, did you?" His tail wagged even more furiously. I, on the other hand, was so embarrassed I wanted to dig a hole and disappear. "Ah, since you're home, I'll just head out now." Victoria blocked my path with a slow, deliberate motion. "Trespassing and then trying to leave? Not so fast." "This isn't trespassing," I protested. "Max is half mine, isn't he? I'm just visiting my son." Her gaze turned playful. "Visiting your son in the middle of the night? What else? You think I came here for you?" I challenged. "Go ahead, call the cops then," I added, resigning myself to my fate. If I was caught red-handed, might as well sit on her couch while I was at it. Max came over to nuzzle my leg. I cursed him under my breath while fishing out a ball from my pocket, the one he loved playing with. Just then, Victoria's phone rang. The sudden ringtone startled me. Oh crap, is she actually calling the police? But then I realized how dumb I was, since when do cops call you first? Whatever the person on the other end said made Victoria's expression tense. Her brows furrowed slightly before she hung up, staring at me with an indecipherable look. Being impatient by nature, I asked, "What's going on? Did something happen? It's not about me, is it? I only came here to steal a dog." Victoria slowly nodded and then dropped a bombshell. "That was my manager. I forgot to tell you I'm filming a show right now." "Wait, what?" My mind went blank. Victoria pointed toward a corner of the living room ceiling. "See that camera up there? We're live." She turned back to me and added lightly, "Yep, live streaming." I was ready to lose it. If I've done anything wrong, let the law punish me, not a live stream of me sneaking into my ex's house to steal a dog for the entire internet to witness. Panicking, I whipped out my phone and checked the trending topics. Sure enough, the internet was ablaze. 2 out of the top 3 trends were related to Victoria. Starlet Victoria living with a man he looks at the dog more lovingly than he ever did at her. Hands shaking, I clicked the thread. "Guys, check out Victoria's live stream. It's juicy. Some guy snuck into her house at night." Who is this guy? Does he know her door code? Must be her boyfriend. Look how familiar he is with her dog. What did they say? She just went to shower and took off her mic so we couldn't hear anything. Hurry, can someone read lips? Don't panic, I've got lip reading skills. At first it's too dark to see what he says, but later Victoria blocks the view. Relax, folks. He looks at the dog more lovingly than he does at Victoria. If you're worried about their romance, you can chill. Who doesn't love dogs, though? The buzz was insane. Just then, my manager called. Gabriel, what the hell were you doing at Victoria's house in the middle of the night? Didn't you guys break up? Explain yourself, Victoria, sitting beside me, heard the yelling through the phone and watched me with amused curiosity. I braced myself and said, Evan missed his brother. I came to get Max to cheer him up. I messed up, I admit it. I'm sorry. I'll kneel if I have to. Please help me out here. Good at nothing except apologizing, my manager sighed. Just sit tight. As long as people can't hear what you guys said, it's fine. Be polite to her, and for God's sake, don't start a fight hanging up. I couldn't help but think my manager was worrying for nothing. Victoria had trained in martial arts and was a black belt in Taekwondo. Fighting her? That's a joke. I value my life too much. But being polite to her? That's asking for too much. Sophia clearly heard her agent's advice and flashed a smug smile. Evan misses his brother? Are you sure it's his problem? She asked. Otherwise, what do you think I miss you? Don't be ridiculous. We've been broken up for so long. You can't seriously think I still have feelings for you, can you? That's so boring. Let's move forward, shall we? Since you caught me, I've got nothing to say. Just pretend nothing happened. Sweating profusely, I babbled nonsense, and Sophia lowered her gaze, the air around her turning heavy. Then she let out a self-deprecating laugh. I thought you came looking for me. Turns out I'm not even worth as much as a dog. What are you talking about? Max isn't just any dog. Are you seriously comparing yourself to him? Wait, what did she mean by that? It suddenly hit me. Sophia thought I came to see her in the middle of the night. I stared at my ex-girlfriend. Nights always seemed to come with a touch of romance, and with her world-class beauty, the atmosphere was even more intoxicating. At that moment, Sophia's lowered eyes and the little mole near the corner of her eye seemed to gleam, pulling me into her orbit. Without thinking, I blurted out, Are you out of your mind? As soon as the words left my mouth, panic set in. I quickly tried to explain. I didn't mean that. I mean, why would you even think no? That's not it. Whatever, just forget it. Pretend I didn't say anything. Sophia chuckled lightly. Yeah, I guess I am out of my mind. My hands are tied. I failed to steal a dog, and now my ex has gone nuts. What am I supposed to do? This is urgent, waiting for advice online. Her agent's voice interrupted her train of thought. What nonsense are you talking about? You need to check the trending topics. What, didn't you say you couldn't hear me? True, I couldn't hear you, but when I sat down, the camera caught my full face. Netizens used lip reading to decode our conversation. Apparently, they're fulfilling some fantasy about kids. Wait, they think we have kids? Case solved. Oh, and that guy? They say he's an actor named Gabriel. Pretty low-key, no scandals, kind of under the radar. He admitted he was wrong. Whoa. My mind raced with imagined scenarios of Sophia being cheated on. The rumors claimed he was still in love with Sophia, wanting to move forward but unable to. Something about being caught red-handed and hoping she'd pretend nothing happened. The people in front of me were geniuses. What a detailed breakdown. This speculation left me dumbfounded. Who lip reads like this? Who interprets things this way? Sophia pulled out her phone and scrolled lazily while reclining on the sofa, her long fingers flying across the screen. The phone looked pristine, or maybe the screen was just huge. Either way, I didn't expect her next move she was posting online. He looks at the dog with more affection than he looks at you. Nonsense, he was looking at me. Yes, we do have 2 kids. Minutes later, Sophia's response skyrocketed to the top of the trending topics. Furious, I tried to grab her phone to delete the post, but she held me back firmly. Sophia, let go, you're crossing the line. Well then, call the cops. Her tone was calm, almost indifferent. This standoff lasted a while until Sophia suddenly asked me, Do you regret breaking up with me, even for a second? I froze. The truth was, of course, I did. But why was she asking now? As I hesitated, she smiled unexpectedly. Got it. Don't worry. This won't cause any trouble. When Sophia said there wouldn't be trouble, she meant it. After the trending topic exploded that night, she posted again, Meet my 2 kids. The attached photo was a snapshot of Max and Evan together. Her team issued a statement clarifying that Gabriel and Sophia were longtime friends, and the dogs had been jointly adopted. My visit to her house was simply a favor to walk the dogs, and I happened to catch her at home. The story barely held together, but it worked well enough. In the end, I didn't lose anything. In fact, I gained a lot of followers. Soon people flooded my comments section. What's it like being friends with Sophia? Can you share how you met her? I want to pet the dogs. Starlet Sophia's dogs look so cuddly, I felt like I'd struck gold. With your image, you're bound to go viral, my agent said. A few days later, my agent called me. I've booked you for a variety show. Make the most of it. I glanced at the details and froze. The show was with Sophia. Are you kidding me? This isn't right. My agent was exasperated. What's the problem? You broke up, so what? You can't appear on a show together? Are you giving up on your career just because of her? You're finally gaining traction and you want to throw it away? Of course I didn't want that. And so, after the dog stealing incident, Sophia and I were paired together again. The show was friendship-themed and we were one of the guest pairs. At the very start, the host asked us, "How long have you known each other?" I thought about it. We met when I was 20, so it had been about 7 years. To make it sound better, I rounded up to 8 years. At the same moment, Sophia answered, 10 years. Huh? Did she not know how to count? The first question already caused a discrepancy, leaving the host confused. So, how many years has it been? Sophia emphasized again. 10 years. Then she glanced at me. I caught her signal, of course. The show needed us to be cooperative. Yes, it's been 10 years. My mistake. And do you remember the first time you met? I thought back. It was for a group project, and we needed a beautiful actress. Sophia was famously the most beautiful in the drama department, so I boldly went to the dorm building for the female students, blocking someone. Hi, Sophia. I was wondering if you'd be willing to appear on camera for our group project. At the time, Sophia had just finished a run and was still catching her breath. Her forehead was covered in sweat and her face was flushed. Huh? Her stunned reaction back then still makes me smile when I think about it. During the freshman New Year's Eve party, she was the host, radiating brilliance. Sophia was the first to answer a question, which surprised not just the audience, but even me. The host remarked, "A decade-long friendship is truly rare." I was completely puzzled. Sure, I was the host, but I didn't even know Sophia back then. After the brief introductions, we started the segment where there was no host. Sophia and I had already brought Max and Evan over beforehand. Ever since Evan met Max, he'd been full of energy, running around wildly in the yard. Sophia went to prepare dinner and reminded me to keep an eye on the dogs. Don't let them run too much or go outside the yard. It's not safe in the mountains. Got it? I didn't respond, but had Max wag his tail at her in reply. Ha! Does she think I don't know how to handle dogs? Like always, I played with them for a while, feeling an unprecedented sense of ease and happiness. What I didn't notice was that Sophia had been watching me the whole time. The comment section was going wild. Are you seriously calling this just friendship? The way these two interact, I'm obsessed. One's fooling around while the other's laughing. But wait, did no one notice that all of Sophia's dishes have chili in them? I thought she doesn't eat spicy food. I remember from Gabriel's old post that he loves spicy food. It wasn't until we sat down to eat that I noticed. I thought you couldn't handle spicy food. Why'd you put so much chili in? I asked, puzzled. Sophia tilted her head and said, Why not? I've made progress over the years, okay? Want to give it a try? As she spoke, she picked up a piece of spicy chicken and placed it in my bowl. I wasn't about to turn down food, so I quickly complimented her. Not bad, your cooking skills are amazing, on par with a professional chef. Wait a second. Did you mix up sugar and salt? Who makes sweet spicy chicken? Sophia froze. She rarely cooked and clearly hadn't tasted the dish beforehand. After hearing my comment, she went back to try it herself, one bite at a time. Judging by her furrowed brow, she had indeed made a mistake. Seriously? Were you trying to get back at me? I said, exasperated. Fine, I'll redo it, she muttered before heading back to the kitchen. Sophia obediently stayed in the dining room to entertain the two overly energetic dogs. Then she quietly murmured, All right, I made Dad mad. You guys need to help me figure out how to make it up to him. I didn't hear her, but the comment section exploded. Evan and Max. Wait, us? Sophia looked so confident, I really thought she was a great cook. Turns out she's terrible. So, are they just friends or something more? OMG, check out the trending topic. Someone found old photos of them together. They were wearing matching rings. An old photo of Sophia and me surfaced online, one that wasn't even a proper posed picture. It was just a casual shot from a small town we'd visited, where we'd smiled at each other on a whim. The background was messy, nothing like the polished, meticulously composed photos you see these days. On our hands were matching rings we'd handcrafted the day before. As soon as the photo leaked, it went viral. Sophia and Gabriel's old photo revealed matching couple rings. It's confirmed. Gabriel looked so young back then, and Sophia's smile was so sweet. The vibe of that picture is unmatched, way better than artificial sweetness. But they don't seem like a couple now. Did they break up? She said it in an interview that she was single at the time, probably exes. I went through Gabriel's entire Twitter history overnight. This man posts about everything, from his torn dumpling wrappers to random daily moments. But there's no sign of a relationship. Wait, you scrolled through thousands of tweets? That's dedication. If they are exes, being on a show together is next-level drama. Everyone, go watch it. The show confiscated our phones during filming, cutting us off from the outside world. So, while the internet was ablaze with speculation, Sophia and I were completely in the dark. All I knew was that she had turned spicy chicken into a sweet dish, and I was in the kitchen trying to salvage it. Suddenly, Sophia came in with the dogs. Max strutted in like he owned the place, while Sophia looked sheepish. "What do you three want?" I asked. Sophia gave me a placating smile. "I came to help you." Max and Evan wagged their tails furiously, nudging Sophia closer to me. Amused, I stopped them. "I don't need your help. If you feel bad, go stand in the corner as punishment. And don't bother me." I was just joking, but when I came out later, there she was, standing perfectly straight, facing the wall. She looked as poised as a model, but then she turned her head to scold the dogs. "Stop messing around, be serious. This is a mission from your dad." I was stunned. I hadn't meant for the dogs to join her punishment, but the scene was oddly heartwarming. I couldn't bring myself to interrupt, secretly wishing this moment would last a little longer. The comment section was in stitches. Max and Evan. "Who's the real dog here?" "Sophia, don't drag the kids into this. They're innocent." "Gabriel, I think Sophia was sneaking glances at you during this entire scene. Tell me this isn't a family of four. I dare you." Afterward, the producers arranged activities for us, like lake tours and bungee jumping. I'm just a nobody, but Sophia's a big deal. Out of courtesy, I let her choose. Meanwhile, my eyes were screaming one thing: please don't pick bungee jumping. Victoria gestured for her to choose the lake cruise. Sophia caught on to my signal and decisively said, "Bungee jumping, ah." Something shattered. Oh, it was me. The whole way there, I was racking my brain for excuses to avoid the jump. But what consumed my mind even more was this: Sophia had really forgotten how much I despised heights. After all, it had been so long since we parted ways. A wave of melancholy washed over me. Sophia, beside me, seemed to sense my low spirits. She suddenly gave my hand a quick squeeze. Startled, I glanced around to check if anyone noticed, relieved to find the camera focused on the scenery. I whispered a sharp warning, "What are you doing? Don't make me slap you." Sophia chuckled softly. "Go ahead, try me." Could I? Would I dare? A slap in the day and an exit from the show at night. I shot her a glare and decisively put some distance between us. If I couldn't win, I'd just avoid her. Though I'm not one to start trouble, I do know when to steer clear. Sophia noticed me inching away and could only laugh helplessly. I spent the entire ride mentally preparing myself, but when I stood on the platform, my legs shook uncontrollably. The wind up there was fierce. "Oh, Mom, I'm scared. I want to go home." Sophia pulled me behind her and smiled at the others. "If he won't jump, I'll go first." I stared at her in horror. That's when it hit me. I couldn't avoid this. I'd come all this way, and not jumping would be like walking onto a battlefield without a weapon. Thinking about my future, I resolutely shook off her hand and stubbornly declared, "It's fine, I can do it." But Sophia disagreed again. She glanced deeply at me, her lips curving into a sly smile. "Gabriel's afraid of heights. I wanted to jump, so I dragged him along to accompany me. If something goes wrong, I couldn't live with myself." "Oh, so now you're taking responsibility, huh?" "Fine, absolutely fine. Since you've said it like this, not going along with it would be rude." I gave her a thumbs up. "You've got this." Let's be real, Sophia's figure was impeccable. Curves in all the right places, fair skin, delicate features. As the wind swept past, her silhouette became even more alluring, captivating everyone watching, including me. The chat exploded with comments just like my thoughts. "Wow, she's stunning, and that's some subtle seduction right there. Overly obvious displays wouldn't have the same impact. This was the perfect balance of flaunting." "Man, she's really something," someone wrote. "Couldn't she be my wife instead?" "Gabriel's losing it. Look at his face, these two. Can you just kiss already? For us?" Sophia's charm was undeniable, and I wasn't immune. 10 seconds passed before I snapped out of it, remembering we were filming a show. Embarrassed, I quickly shifted my gaze to the scenery, only to accidentally glance down. My heart nearly stopped. I knew it was high, but I hadn't imagined it was this high. There was even a river below. I stole a glance at Sophia, a bit worried. Was she really going to jump? Sure, there were safety measures, but what if something went wrong? I tugged lightly at her arm. "Hey, Sophia, do you really want to do this? If you're scared, it's okay not to go through with it." My voice grew quieter as I spoke. Then it hit me, she had chosen this herself. She loved extreme sports. Why would she be afraid? Feeling foolish, I let go of her arm and lowered my head in frustration. Sophia caught my gaze and smiled, teasing, "Are you worried about me?" I shook my head vehemently. "No, I'm not, don't be ridiculous." Her smile widened, a knowing glint in her eyes. She let out a small huff, clearly in high spirits and showing no signs of nerves. Her confidence reassured me. She was ready, so why was I overthinking? The crew seemed professional, all the safety precautions were in place. It should be fine. Yet, when Sophia leaned back and plunged into the void, my heart clenched. As she reached the lowest point of the jump, it felt like I was the one being flung into the air, suspended and unable to come back down. Oh God, who understands this feeling? The angle of her fall made my heart skip a beat. Thank you for the immersive experience. I feel like I just died with her. When Sophia returned to the platform, her hair was windswept and her clothes fluttered messily, but she radiated a raw, unpolished beauty. She flashed me a triumphant grin, like a golden retriever reveling in its antics. In contrast, I was erect, pale-faced and wide-eyed, as if I had been the one to jump. Sophia waved her hand in front of my face. "What's wrong? Stunned by my charm? I know I'm amazing, but no need to worship me." Her playful words brought me back to reality. I forced a weak smile. On the way back, Sophia noticed I still looked off, so she handed me her water bottle. Without thinking, I accepted it and took a sip. She seized the chance to lean in and whisper, "Gabriel, you were worried about me, weren't you?" Though phrased as a question, her tone carried absolute certainty. I had no idea where her confidence came from, but damn it, she was right. The comments rolled in. "What are you two whispering about? Can us VIPs not get in on this? Wait, is that Sophia's personal water bottle? I swear I've seen it in behind-the-scenes photos. Don't remind Gabriel. Let him keep drinking. Sophia, do you not care about appearances? The cameras are rolling." It wasn't the jump that was hard, it was surviving Sophia's relentless teasing. The one who's been affected is Gabriel. Sophia's little scheme worked like a charm. Sophia said, "Last time I went bungee jumping with him, so he let me choose the next activity. Hiking to pick mushrooms or boating on the lake, I'm having a hard time deciding. Can't I pick both?" Without thinking, I blurted out, "Only kids make choices I want at all." The show crew was stunned, but Sophia laughed and agreed. "Exactly. I want everything too. We're just so in sync." The live chat erupted in laughter. Oh. So in sync, Sophia, did you even hear the options? You've clearly been sneakily watching Gabriel the whole time. Sophia, I'll quiz you. What's the plan now? Sophia replied cheekily. Accompany my boyfriend, someone commented. You in the front row are the worm in Sophia's stomach. Though the schedule was tight, we managed to fit in both activities. First up was mushroom picking in the mountains. The show crew invited a local expert to guide us. Sophia's sharp eyes spotted a vividly colorful mushroom, and she immediately called out to me, Gabriel, look at this one, it's huge. I kindly warned her, red cap, white stem, eat it, and you'll end up flat on your back. She quickly pulled me a meter away from it. Neither of us had much experience, so we followed the guide closely, picking mushrooms wherever he pointed. Sophia contributed emotional commentary throughout, exclaiming, Whoa, this one's huge and fresh. Wow, look how many you've picked already, Gabriel, you're amazing. At the end, she pointed at the dirt-covered mushrooms and said, Incredible. These are going to be delicious. Sophia's flattery skills were average, but they still managed to cheer me up. Meanwhile, our two dogs hadn't seen us all morning. As soon as we walked through the door, they wagged their tails and bounded toward us. I quickly lifted the basket above my head and warned, Don't come near. If you lick it and get sick, Mom will be worried. Of course, they didn't understand a word and thought I was playing with them, bouncing around even more excitedly. Their fluffy tails brushed against my calves, warming my heart. Cooking mushrooms requires caution, so I firmly vetoed Sophia's offer to help in the kitchen. Confidently following the crew's instructions, I prepared the dish. As the mushrooms cooked, a fragrant aroma filled the air. Both dogs and Sophia eagerly waited outside the kitchen door, remembering my words and not daring to step inside. Their pitiful expressions amused me, and the meal was filled with joy and laughter. In the afternoon, we set off for the lake. Upon arrival, we discovered two options: pay for someone to row for us while we enjoyed the view, or row ourselves. I was about to choose the easy option when Sophia coughed lightly beside me. Confused, I glanced at her. She touched her nose and looked embarrassed. Our budget is tight, she explained, implying we had to row ourselves. I looked at the clumsy boats bumping into the rocky edges of the lake and hesitated. Can we manage this? Sophia saw my concern and patted her chest confidently. Trust me, I've got this. To increase credibility, she even mimicked rowing movements. Reluctantly, I decided to believe her. The live chat, however, had a different opinion. Gabriel, Sophia's totally bluffing. The crew's budget is fine. She just wants to spend time alone with you. Sophia, you're unbelievable. Is this a courting ritual? Actually, scratch that, it's definitely courting. Unaware of the comments, I entrusted everything to Sophia. Half an hour later, I was exhausted. Our boat had only drifted about 500 meters, hitting nearly every rocky wall along the way. My arms were aching, and when I raised them, they were as black as coal. Sophia cheerfully remarked, Well, the oars weren't exactly clean. I secretly wiped my hands on her shirt, turning it into a gray-white gradient design. Feeling smug, I looked at Sophia's helpless expression. I've been watching you the whole time, she said. Just then, our boat was rear-ended. I glared at her. Why were you watching me? Focus on rowing. All right, Captain, Sophia replied with a grin. She started rowing vigorously while directing me. Go forward, good. The direction's right. You can stop now. As the boat finally sailed smoothly, I began to find the joy in lake boating. With no one else aboard, Sophia suddenly removed her microphone equipment, explaining, I don't want it to get wet, I'll put it aside. She even took mine off and set it by hers. The cool breeze felt refreshing, and I was enjoying the peaceful moment when Sophia suddenly whispered, Gabriel, can I pursue you? I was so shocked I nearly fell out of the boat. Staring at her as if I'd seen a ghost, I was too startled to speak. Seeing my silence, Sophia grew nervous. I'm serious, I'm not joking. If you think it's abrupt, I'm sorry. You don't have to answer now, I can wait. Gabriel's face turned anxious while I sat there stunned. Meanwhile, the live chat had a field day. Can the drone camera fly closer? Get right between them so we can hear everything. How about releasing a separate audio track of their private conversation? I'll pay to listen. Don't you think their atmosphere is awkward? Why sit so far apart? Kiss already and ease the tension. I've never seen Sophia so anxious. Curiosity won. While the audience was thoroughly entertained, I was dying of embarrassment. We rode in silence for the rest of the trip. Once we docked, I practically fled the scene. But as I ran, something felt off. Why did the camera mounted on the follower drone suddenly look like it had horns? A gentle tap on my shoulder made me halt. Sophia's surprised voice called out, "Gabriel, the little horns on your head look oddly adorable." Suddenly, I felt a bit dizzy. Why does Sophia's head look like there are two of them? Thanks for asking, just woke up in the hospital. I was too busy laughing at Sophia for not knowing how to cook, but it turns out I'm equally bad at it. The mushrooms at lunch probably weren't cooked properly. All I could think about was the leftover mushrooms from lunch and how they needed to go back into the pan. Suddenly, the door to the hospital room creaked open slightly, and Sophia's head peeked in sneakily. She flashed an awkward smile. "Hey, you're awake, can I come in?" As I stared at her, I suddenly remembered her confession. Wait a second, was that a confession? I zoned out for 2 seconds. Sophia, thinking I was rejecting her, looked a bit deflated. "All right, I'll come back later," she said, closing the door behind her. Was she really going to leave so quickly? Just as I was about to call her back, the door was flung open again. Sophia rushed in with her eyes closed and dashed to my bedside. In one breath, she blurted out, "Gabriel, I don't know if you still hate me, but I really like you. Even after all these years since we broke up, I haven't been able to move on. You might think I'm carefree, but that's all an act. I came on this program just to reconcile with you. Even though you didn't want me to come in, I just wanted to see you. When I passed out earlier, all I could think about was you. Okay, I've said it all. Now if you want to kick me out, go ahead, just be gentle, all right?" After finishing her long speech, she finally opened her eyes, waiting for my response. But all I could think about was Sophia's impressive lung capacity. She could probably kiss for a long time, huh? What did she taste like before? It's been so long, I've forgotten. That didn't stop me from subtly licking my lips. Sophia's face was slightly flushed from nervousness and excitement. Her lips looked soft. I remembered how good they were to kiss. Should I say yes? The thought popped into my head and I was startled by it, quickly dismissing the idea. She's a starlet, what do I have to offer her? I really am getting ahead of myself after just a bit of interaction. I was about to politely decline when the hospital door was abruptly pushed open. Both Sophia and I turned to look at the doorway. My agent rushed in, looking frantic and glancing between us and his phone. "Oh, both of you are here." Sophia's agent followed closely behind and almost jumped when she saw her. "There you are, can't you be a bit more reserved? You're chasing him way too aggressively. Anyway, you should check the trending topics while you're at it." Since the program started, this was my first time checking online feedback. Nervously, I clicked on the trending list. "Lip-reading expert is here, make way. Sophia says she's not here to play. She's here to pursue Gabriel. My OTP confessed on the show? OMG, I approve of this wedding. When's the honeymoon? On the show too? Aha, why did both of them faint? Was it mushroom poisoning? Turns out it really was because of the mushrooms. The production team even issued a notice. The top 3 trending topics were all about Sophia and me. Sophia confesses to Gabriel. Sophia and Gabriel poisoned by mushrooms. And Sophia and Gabriel's show temporarily paused. Apparently, since we both ended up in the hospital, the production team had to halt the program until we recovered. My agent seemed satisfied with the current buzz and left with a simple "glad you're okay." Sophia's agent gave her an encouraging thumbs up before leaving as well. They were like tornadoes, quick to come and go, leaving just Sophia and me standing awkwardly in the aftermath. Sophia broke the silence first. "If you're going to reject me, then don't say a word." "Fine, I won't say anything," I replied. Sophia panicked. "No, wait, what's wrong with me? Tell me and I'll change, just give me a chance, please." "Honestly, there's nothing wrong with you," I said after thinking for a moment. "By the way, how long have we been out? Max and Evan must be worried." Sophia looked exasperated. "You're seriously thinking about the dogs right now?" Without thinking, I blurted out, "I'm thinking about you." As soon as the words left my mouth, I froze. Did I just say what I really felt? Sophia's eyes lit up. "You're really thinking about me? Does that mean I have a chance?" "Well, maybe a small chance," I admitted hesitantly. "You know, I read somewhere that parents' bad relationships can negatively affect their children's growth. For their mental health, I think I could give this a shot. With every word I spoke, the passion in Sophia's eyes grew stronger. Unable to hold back, she pounced on me. All right, let's set a good example for them. Gabriel, thank you for coming back to me. Why so formal? Sophia grinned. How about I kiss you first? Without waiting for permission, she leaned in. Whatever, live in the moment, right? Even if we break up again someday, at least we're happy now. After Sophia and I reconciled, the happiest ones were Max and Evan. They hadn't seen us for days and were practically bouncing off the walls with excitement, jumping all over me. Sophia scooped them up in her arms, saying, "Thank you, my wonderful boys. Just ask Mom if you need anything." She had dropped all pretense, radiating love and happiness from every pore. The online comments exploded. Wait, calling Sophia Mom and Gabriel Dad? So what's their relationship? Come on, Sophia practically has dating Gabriel written on her forehead. And you're still asking? Dogs. Don't make promises you can't keep. Gabriel literally said it and you didn't understand. This is my first time witnessing happiness as an audience member, kind of nervous. When do we throw confetti? On the program's finale, we took the opportunity to announce our relationship. Sophia even called out a marketing account that had previously shared old photos of us, thanking them for restoring the pictures. Honestly, they're clearer than the ones I had, she joked before giving a short introduction. Gabriel had always had just one partner. Gabriel trending on social media again? I was overwhelmed by the sweetness. Sophia leaned over and rubbed her cheek against mine. You need to post something on Twitter to respond to me, or I'll look so pitiful, she said. Help, she's too adorable. Okay, I said, giving in. I reposted her tweet with a picture of us and our 2 dogs. 2 humans, 2 dogs, 1 happy family. Thank heavens, I don't have to steal dogs anymore. Bonus chapter, Sophia's perspective. I've been planning something big lately. I'm going to win Gabriel back. Back then, he thought our careers were mismatched, and the long periods apart made it hard, so we broke up. I didn't argue because I needed to make money, but now I'm in a position where I can confidently walk back into his life. Careers mismatched? Fine, I'll quit the industry. Long periods apart? That's not happening anymore. Wherever he goes, I'll follow. If he's on set, I'll be his assistant. The truth is, I've liked him since I first saw him 10 years ago at the freshman welcome event. I went backstage with a friend where it was noisy and chaotic. Someone had misplaced his carefully prepared cue cards for hosting. While everyone else panicked, Gabriel improvised effortlessly and even smiled at the person who lost them. It's fine, he said. I've got it all memorized. He left an impression on my heart that day, but I was too much of a coward to do anything but silently watch him from afar. Later, he cornered me downstairs and asked me to play the lead in his group project. God knows how fast my heart was beating. A person so sunny and carefree, I was lucky to have met him. So when I saw him tormented by the cracks in our relationship years later, I felt deeply sorry. Even now, as I've made up my mind to win him back, I'm nervous. What if he's already moved on? What if he's forgotten me? I thought long and hard, and my eyes landed on our dogs, the older one, Max, and the younger one, Evan. Evan had gone with Gabriel after the breakup. An idea started forming in my mind. I asked a mutual friend to send Gabriel a video of someone stealing their ex's dog after a breakup. To be honest, I'd never changed the code to my house after we split, but he never came back, not even once. This man is so heartless, but I still love him. Clearly, the plan worked. Gabriel might have let go of me, but he definitely hadn't let go of the dog. The only hitch? He showed up on the day of my live-streamed reality show. For a moment, I was stunned, but then again, it made sense. He probably doesn't keep up with my life anymore. After the shock came a joy so big it felt like it would burst out of me. I asked him, "Do you regret breaking up with me?" He froze, but I noticed the tips of his ears turning red, and that made me happy. So, he still has feelings for me, doesn't he? I'd already done my homework. He's single. Since the breakup, he hasn't been close to any other women. As long as he hasn't turned gay, I still have a chance. With renewed confidence, I kept going. During the show, he smiled at me again. The house was lively and warm. This was what life should be like. The producers asked us to choose between bungee jumping or a boat ride. I could see the words boat ride written all over Gabriel's face, but I chose bungee jumping instead. It reminded me of a time I traveled alone to a remote mountainous region. The tour guide had said, "The person who accompanies you on this journey is someone you should treasure for life. The road ahead is truly dangerous." The group joked about being bound by life and death experiences. I wanted to try sharing something like that with Gabriel. Bungee jumping seemed like a reasonable substitute. Gabriel, however, was not having it. He couldn't jump, but that was fine, as long as he didn't jump out of my life. I saw the worry etched on his face, and in that moment, all my own fears and uncertainties melted away. I was simply too happy. And then, something even better happened. I succeeded. I hugged our dogs, crying tears of joy. From now on, we wouldn't have to live apart anymore. Gabriel, not one to be outdone, forced his way into the hug, resting his chin on my shoulder. "What about me?" he asked indignantly. I rolled my eyes at him. "You're going to be late." He checked the time, and sure enough, his cooking class was about to start. He had to rush off. "He's learning to cook for his wife," I explained to the dogs. "All right, kids, let's go play."